have made appearances in this case?
Your Honor, there is, but he's no longer representing the client. He hasn't withdrawn. He's from the Houston area, but he's not. Mr. Black's the attorney, or the applicant's attorney now.
Okay. Mr. Black, would you like to proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would first call Angela Ray Multer.
Pardon me, it kind of jumbled up on the words. So.
Okay. I'm going to first call Angela Ray Multer. I guess if we need to swear her in.
Yes. Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony given this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you. Would you state your name, please?
Angela Ray Multer.
Thank you. Ms. Multer, is it correct that Dale Edward Multer, the decedent and your late husband, passed away intestate, which means without a will, on June 27, 2020 in Bastrop County, Texas, at the age of 61, and that 4 years did not elapse since the date of his death? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is it correct that your husband was domiciled and had a fixed place of residence in Bastrop County at the time he passed away? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is it correct that a necessity exists to administer your late husband's estate? Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it correct, to the best of your knowledge, your husband passed away without a will? Is that correct? Did you say correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
Is it correct that you are entitled to letters of independent administration by law and that you're not disqualified by law from accepting those letters? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. I would pass the witness.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Multer. I'm very sorry for your loss. Do you remember speaking to me on the phone, the general contents of our conversation?
Yes.
Have any new facts come to light regarding any unknown heirs of your husband, have any new facts come to light since we last spoke?
No.
And how many children did you and your husband have together?
We have 2.
And those children are Raymond Edward Multer and Andrea Dawn Bell, is that correct?
Yes.
And they're both adults, is that correct?
Yes.
And none of Dale Multer, the decedent's heirs, are mentally disabled, correct? They all understand?
No.
Okay. Sorry, that none of them are mentally disabled, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. And no additional questions, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
I would next call Charles Lanterman.
Okay. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may proceed.
Would you state your name, please?
We can't hear him. It doesn't say it's muted, but we can't hear him. No. And Mr. Daly, you're muted also.
It shows him as muted on my screen.
Oh, it does? It doesn't show that he's muted on mine, and then he'll click to mute and then click off of it, and then but it doesn't change.
Robert, do you want to try with Ms. Cortan first?
Yeah, Sean, with your permission, I'll go on and deal with Ms. Cortan.
Okay. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear the testimony you give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Would you state your name, please?
Legal name is Cynthia Joyce Corton.
Okay, do you go by Cinda?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Cindy, is it correct that Dale Edward Multer, the decedent, who died on June 27, 2020 in Bastrop County, Texas, was well known to you, as was his family history? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it correct that he was married only once, such being on or about June 29, 1985, to Angela Ray Multer? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it correct that they remained married until the time of the death of the decedent and that Angela Ray Multer survived the decedent? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it correct the only children born to or adopted by the decedent were Raymond Edward Multer and Andrea Dawn Bell? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it correct that both of those children survived the decedent and they are over the age of 18? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it correct that those two children were born to the marriage of decedent and Angela Ray Multer? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And lastly, is it correct that you do not have any interest in the estate of the decedent? Is that correct?
None at all.
Okay, thank you. Pass the witness.
Mr. Daly?
Ms. Corton, do you remember speaking to me, or since the last time we spoke on the phone, are there any new facts regarding any unknown heirs of the decedent?
No, sir.
And just to be clear, the decedent's, to the best of your knowledge, the decedent passed away with the surviving spouse, which is Angela Ray Multer, and he had two adult children, which are Raymond Edward Multer and Andrea Dawn Bell. Is that correct?
That is correct.
No additional questions, Your Honor.
Any further questions, Mr. Black?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Lanterman, would you like to recall him?
Yes, Your Honor. If we could recall Charles Lanterman.
Mr. Lanterman, can we hear you now? Doesn't appear so. We could either have him call in and just provide testimony through audio. You could ask him yes or no questions and he could nod and we could take notice of what those answers are. How would you like to proceed, Mr. Black?
It might be easiest if we try asking yes or no questions and having him nod.
Are you okay with that, Mr. Daly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll proceed that way.
Now, I don't know if he's on the screen.
He is.
Okay. All right. Mr. Lanterman, if you nod yes, nod your head yes for answering yes to my questions, shake your head no for no. So I'll ask you, is it correct that your name is Charles Lanterman? Is that correct? Is it correct that Dale Edward Multer, the decedent who died on June 27, 2020 in Bastrop County, Texas, was well known to you, as was his family history? Is that correct? Is it correct that Dale Edward Multer was married only once, such being on June 29, 1985, to Angela Ray Multer? Is that correct? Is it correct that the decedent and Angela remained married until the time of the death of the decedent and that Angela has survived the decedent? Is that correct? Is it correct the only children born to or adopted by the decedent were Raymond Edward Multer and Andrea Dawn Bell? Is that correct? Is it correct that both of those children survived the decedent and they are over the age of 18? Is that correct? Is it correct that both of these children were born to the marriage of the decedent and Angela Ray Multer? Is that correct? And lastly, is it correct that you have no interest in the estate of the decedent? Is that correct? Thank you. I'd pass the witness.
Okay, the court will note on the record that Mr. Lanterman's answers were all in the affirmative with a nod that the court understood to be a yes. And Mr. Daly, do you have any questions?
One question, Your Honor. Good morning, Lieutenant Lanterman. Have any new facts come to light since we last spoke regarding any facts regarding the unknown heirs of the decedent? Do you have any new information? No additional questions, Your Honor.
Okay, the court will note that Mr. Lanterman's answers to those questions were shaking his head no, and to the negative, that he did not have any additional information regarding that. Any further questions, Mr. Black?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, any further testimony?
No further testimony, Your Honor.
Mr. Daly, you filed a report. I will take judicial notice of it and its contents. Is there anything else you would like to present?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anyone here on this call who stands in opposition to the requested relief? There appearing to be none. The court will, Mr. Black, I have a order declaring heirship and appointing independent administrator. Is that the order that you want the court to grant and to then sign?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Daly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the court will make the findings found that are set out in the order declaring heirship and appointing independent administrator. The court grants that, and I will also sign it. And I will note on the record that I am signing the form of this order at this time. That also includes $500 for Mr. Daly's services. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Needs to be two, and of course you'll need to come in. Well, there is a different order declaring heirship and order authorizing independent. It appears to be different. What do I do with that one? Do I?
That was an old one submitted a long time ago, Your Honor. I think that could be discarded.
Okay, it is not filed in the official records, but was inside inside the file. So since it was not file stamped, so does not appear to be part of the record, for the parties requesting that I shred this.
Yes, Your Honor.
And we wouldn't do that if it had a file stamp on it anyway, but it does not appear to be, and does not, in my opinion, does not appear to be part of the record. Does anyone think otherwise, or anybody really think that I don't want there to be confusion between two different orders, but so if,
I think that needs to be shredded, and I think you're right. I don't think it was ever file stamped and in the record.
okay, Mr. Black, any different opinion?
No, Your Honor, I believe that's correct. And I believe we submitted yesterday an order that both Mr. Daly and I signed off to approve as to form.
That does appear to be the one that I have now signed. Okay, is there anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. This will conclude the hearing.